Welcome back to Studio 5. Our thoughts are powerful. We know that. And my next guest says some of our daily thoughts are actually lies that make life harder. Studio 5 relationship contributor Dr. Matt Townsend has identified 4 common thinking errors that most women make. And I was looking over this list before the show, and I was nodding my head in agreement to almost everyone. Well, I think they're natural in certain situations in life. These creep in, and even though I think on paper we identify them as, you know, untruths. We still think them.
Oh no, see, and this is the dilemma, because that's why they're hidden. See, most of our thinking we don't think about, because what would we think about it with? Our thinking.
That just got really confusing.
It's got confusing, but here's the idea. We have certain thoughts, every one of us, and the thoughts are going to eventually determine our feelings. Our feelings follow from thought. Our feelings then drive our actions, and our actions drive what we're becoming.
So it's a cycle.
It's a cycle. So if you want to change something, you got to change the thinking. So 4 thoughts, and these aren't just unique just to women, but I think women have like grabbed onto these and really like these 4, okay? 4 thoughts. First thought is to believe that your value is conditional. Most human beings tend to believe our value is conditional.
Conditional
meaning on our looks, our body, our hair, our car, our whatever. And the reality is think of this, it took 1 trillion cell divisions to make you. So if you don't believe in a God or any higher power, you're phenomenal just because your cells divided 1 trillion times.
There you go.
But there's a million other reasons why you're incredible, and your value is not just in what you own or what you have. We know that because when someone dies, we seriously miss them. We're seriously hurt by their loss, and it's not just because everything that they had aggregated is now gone. It's because of who they are. Our value is infinite. It's unconditional. It's a diamond. Diamonds have their value. Diamonds don't necessarily lose value just when you put them in an ugly setting. The diamond will always keep its value. Humans have infinite value.
So the million-dollar question, speaking of diamonds, how do we train the brain to erase that thought?
You know what? You don't even need to erase it. You just need to notice you have the thought. If you keep noticing that you think your value is conditional, and you'll know that because if all of a sudden how you dress impacts how you're feeling about yourself, just notice, what is the thought that leads me to feel less than? And if you can just notice the thought, then the thought will probably self-correct more than having to fix it.
You say women, a lot of women have this idea that they could or should be good at everything they do, from motherhood to their job to crafts or whatever it may be. They should be good at everything.
It's called the swimmer's body illusion. Everybody believes, not everybody, but a lot of people believe that if they want a body like a swimmer, they need to work like a swimmer, right? Wrong. Because most swimmers, have you ever noticed in the Olympics, they all pretty much have the same body.
True.
So the reason they have the body isn't because they worked out to get a body, it's because they were born with a body. A lot of us are born with certain traits. Those traits are what make us Olympian swimmers. If you notice, the gymnasts don't have swimmer bodies.
Right.
Isn't that weird? But you'd think a gymnast that swam would just have a swimmer's body.
True, they're training just as hard in the same way, but not so.
Right. So there's an illusion that people believe if I just train harder and work harder, I'll get that body. But a lot of what we have and what we are is what we're born with. If you have the swimmer's body, you're more likely to be a swimmer. How many friends do you know that are out doing Ragnar and are getting hurt? They're tired, they're exhausted, they're pulling their tendons or their Achilles. They're getting hurt. You know why? Because you're probably not a runner. You might want to try another thing. Maybe you're a swimmer. So get in the water. Now, why I say this is it's an illusion we all hold up. Is the best university because they have the best teachers, or is it because they attract the best students? It's an illusion. And so a lot of times, maybe what we ought to figure out first is, what am I really fantastic at? What am I good at that no one else can do like me? And work on that instead of just...
before we run and gun at the goal, really take some thought and set the right goal.
That's right.
Well, and this seems to be something that people get better at as they age, don't you think? They come to a greater peace at who they are and who they're not.
They've already broken a lot of stuff. They've already hurt themselves. They're finally figuring out that I can't be everything, but what I can be is what I'm uniquely here to give. What is my unique gift, right? So we got to blow up that myth. You're not... It's an illusion.
I love it.
Swimmer's body's an illusion.
Thinking error number 3 is worrying about what is already lost. Explain that.
Okay, our human tendency is we worry more about what we've lost than what our potential opportunities are. Humans inherently worry more about what we can't have or don't have or have already lost than the upcoming opportunities. And that's kind of a survival instinct, right? Because if I've invested a lot of time into something, I'm going to hang on to that and never let it go.
Your grip is firm, yeah.
So think about that. If as you age, if you've like done a lot, in TV, if I did a ton of TV, and I'm progressing to the point that I can't be on TV or I'm not going to be on TV anymore, I'm about to retire, my body would rather remember everything I did on TV than go to a new opportunity.
And what drives that? Fear?
Fear.
Failure?
It's a fear, and it's your body's way of protecting yourself. The downside to that, though, is we hang on to a lot of stuff we should let go of, and instead, there's a lot of opportunities just waiting for us that if we would jump on with excitement, we could maximize that opportunity.
Well, and you think of how many past losses in this case, using your words, how many past losses affect and limit the opportunities that are ahead of us. I mean, you could go on and on with opportunities that you've been maybe paralyzed with fear to move forward on because of past experiences.
And because you've invested so much time and energy and money and effort, we don't let things go that we've invested all that into. Our body wants to maximize it, even though the world may not want it anymore.
What's the key to breaking that code? Because that's scary, even as you describe situations.
That's right. See, part of it's just noticing it, and then some of it is, again, going back to who you are, your identity's not conditional, your value's infinite, and notice that you have this tendency to go to the fear. I'd hang around people. There's some people that just love a new opportunity.
They're naturally good at this.
Yeah, and hook onto those people, and maybe quit investing in stuff that's no longer paying off. Quit investing in it. If you started scrapbooking 15, 20, 30 years ago, and we're not scrapbooking anymore, you could maybe don't invest anymore in it this year.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you have to let it all go,
right.
But because every time you invest in it, you're not going to jump to the next opportunity.
All right, the fourth thinking error is perhaps my favorite. I say favorite because I think it's pretty common. Peace comes from volume and velocity. You say that could not be farther from the truth.
Nobody's peace comes from having a volume of anything and a high speed of everything. Okay, our peace comes in these quiet moments. It's not about having 50 grandchildren that makes you happy. It's about having a space with these 50 grandchildren. It's about having a relationship with 50 grandchildren. I was so excited today. My wife left and I got to get up and take care of my last child and get him out of bed and get him to read and get him to do all these things. And I was so excited. I got up there, but we spent like 20 minutes just in bed. I was tickling his back. We just talked. And I'm noticing there was no speed there.
Yeah.
And there was not, I had a velocity and a multitude and a volume of things to do. None of it mattered but tickling his back and hanging out. And then when I finally got everything else done under pressure and under intensity, got him out the door, my peace did not come from the last 20 minutes I was with him, but the first 20.
It wasn't the frantic brush your teeth, comb your hair, get ready. It was those 20 minutes slow and still.
It always is. It's being present in the moment with other people. It's creating connections and ties. It's not about volume. It's not about velocity.
Love it, Matt. Thank you so much. So last week we announced your date night, and spots are already filling up.
Filling up. It really is filling up fast. It's at Olympus Junior High, November 15th, Creating Peace with People. So this is the date night you're going to want to go to bring everyone in your family together. So instead of giving a Christmas present no one cares about, bring them to this date night. It's November 15th. We're going to learn how to connect in our essence with each other instead of letting our egos battle. Bring your friends, bring your family. Tons of fun.
Awesome.
Go to Date Nights with Matt.
Matt, thank you so much.
Brooke.
All right, come